Hi guys, here's a video on finding inequalities from graphs. When you are given a graph, how do you come up with the inequation? Let's get straight into it. So to find the inequalities given a graph, first you find the equation of the straight line or the boundary line. Then you decide on the inequality sign to complete your inequality. Let's look at the example. You have this shaded region given, and you have three straight lines. So you have this 1, 2, 3 lines, and the shaded region is bounded by those three straight lines. So let's find the inequalities which are represented by the shaded regions shown. Since we have three lines, we'll look for the inequalities one by one. First, let's look at the horizontal line. Let's call this line 1. Now, since it's a horizontal line, it will only cut through the y-axis and not the x-axis. Now, if you look at every point on the line going left to right, for example, this point, you will see that its coordinates are x equals 0 and y equals 1. If you check out this point, the coordinates are x equals 4 and y equals 1. This point, x equals 3 and y equals 1. Now, every point on the horizontal line gives you the y coordinate of y equals 1. Y equals 1. Therefore, the equation of this horizontal line is y equals 1. Now let's decide on the inequality sign. Well, remember in the previous video we said there will be two types of lines for inequalities. We can have dashed or dotted lines, and we can have bold or solid lines. Now if you look at our line here, it's a dotted line, and so we'll have these two options. We can have less than or greater than. Then we look at where the shaded region is. If you look at it now, the shaded region is above our horizontal line, and so the correct inequality symbol will be greater than. And therefore for this line, our inequality is y is greater than 1. We just replace the equal sign here with the inequality sign. So let's say our line 1 has an equation of y is greater than 1. Now for the second line, it's the vertical line. So the vertical line will only cut the x-axis. It will only cut the x-axis. Since it's not slopey, it won't cut either axis. So we only look at where it cuts the x-axis. Now here's one simple way to find the equation quickly. Look, the line is vertical, so where it cuts the x-axis, that should give you your equation. X equals 4. Okay, to get some more clues, if you look at points along the line, let's say this point right here, on this vertical line, if the x coordinate is 4 and the y coordinate is 1. Now if you look at this point, maybe this point, the x coordinate is 4 and the y coordinate is 4. How about this point right here? Maybe this point. At this point, your x coordinate is 4 and the y coordinate is 0. So if you look at it, everywhere along the line, the x coordinate is 4, 4, 4. So the equation of this line is x equals 4. Now if you look at the x equals 4, now if you look at the shaded region, it is on the left side of the line, and so the inequality sign will be less than. It will be less than. And then we look at the type of the graph. It is dotted or dashed. So our inequality will be x is less than 4, since the line is not solid or bold. So here is it. Every point on the line has x coordinate x equals 4. So the equation of the line is x equals 4. Now since the line is dotted, we can either have less than or greater than. And since the shaded region is on the left, it's less than. So our inequality for the vertical line is x is less than 4. Alright, so we can have this one. That's our second line. Now for the third line, which is the slopey one. Now all the slopey lines will have two intercepts, the x-intercept and the y-intercept, where the line will cut those axes. So the line will come in this gradient y-intercept format, gradient intercept format, y equals mx plus c. This m and c, they are numbers, and the m represent the gradient or the slope or the steepness of the graph, and the y here represents the y-intercept, specifically the y coordinate of the y-intercept. So previously we were doing table of values to draw our straight line graph, and then we use the intercepts, x-intercept and y-intercept, to also draw our graphs. So we can easily get the y-intercept from the graph, and we can find the gradient, and we substitute into this format to get our equation first, and then we decide on the inequality sign. Okay, so let's get into it. Since the c value of the c value of this format of the equation is the y-intercept, we can say the y-intercept of our line is equals to the c value. It will be the c value, and if you look at the line, it cuts through this point right here, and that's where y is equals to 0. If you are trying to look at both coordinates, well, x is 0 and y is 0. So the c only represents the y coordinate, which is 0. So there is it. There it is. We have our y-intercept found. That's 0, which will be the c value. And next we look for the gradient. Now to find the gradient, this is one way. Excuse me. Yeah. Alright, this is one way we can find our gradient. That's rise over run in simple form. We'll talk about the formula later on. Put a note here. Pick 2 points on the line, and then you rise from one point and run to the other, forming a right triangle. Let's see what that means. So on your slopey line, you find 2 nice points where the coordinates are whole numbers, like this point and this point. Take note, the coordinates must be whole numbers, so your calculations are simple. So you rise from the bottom point, and take note, when you are moving upwards, the movement is a positive movement. You are going in the positive direction. So count how many units you are moving along the y-axis. You are going 1 and 2 units. And since we are going up, the movement is positive. So that's a +2. We are rising positive 2 units up. And then we run towards the second point. And when we move towards the right, that is a positive movement or positive direction. And so we count the number of units we have moved from 2 to 3 to 4. That's 2 units movement, and it's positive since we're moving to the right. Take note, when we do this, we have created a nice right triangle right here. And that gives us our rise over run. Rise going up, +2, run going to the right, +2. So our gradient is a +1. And once we found these two things, we can just substitute into the y equal to mx plus c. Our m is a +1, our c is a 0, and simplifying it down, this is the equation of the straight line, y equals x. And of course, we have to decide on the inequality symbol based on 2 things. One is the type of the line. Since it is a bold line, or a solid line, or a continuous line, these are our options: greater equal to or less than or equal to. Now the shaded region is below the line, so it will be less than or equal to. Okay, so this will be our correct option. And we just plug it into the equation in place of the equal sign, and so the inequality for the slopey line is y is less than or equal to x. Let's write it up here. This is line number 3, and its inequality is y is less than or equal to x. Right, before I go away, I would like you to like this video, press the bell icon to get notifications of when a new video is uploaded, and also subscribe so you don't miss one video. That is all for today. Bye for now.